here at democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Juan?
Well, a week ago today, the last issue of the Rocky Mountain News hit newsstands across Denver. The paper's owner, Scripps Company, closed the Pulitzer Prize-winning paper to the shock of the paper's staff and readers. The 150-year-old Rocky was Colorado's first newspaper and the state's oldest continually operated business. This is how Rich Bain, the president and CEO of Scripps, broke the news last week to the staff at the Rocky.
One thing I just want to make sure and say, it's certainly nothing you did. You all did everything right. But while you were out doing your part, the business model and the economy changed, and the Rocky became a victim of that.
Other papers could soon face the same demise as the Rocky Mountain News. The owners of the San Francisco Chronicle, Seattle Post-Intelligencer, and Tucson Citizen are threatening to close the papers if new owners cannot be found. The owners of the Chicago Tribune, the Philadelphia Inquirer, and the New Haven Register have sought bankruptcy protection. The Christian Science Monitor will soon become a web-only publication.
The New York Times and the Washington Post are also facing financial troubles. The Times recently had to borrow $250 million and is considering selling part of its new headquarters in Times Square. The Washington Post's fourth quarter earnings fell 77%. To talk more about the future of newspapers, we've got two guests. Laura Frank is with us, worked as an investigative reporter at the Rocky Mountain News up until last week. She joins us from Denver. And Bernie Lunzer is with us in Washington. He's the president of the Newspaper Guild. Let's begin with Laura Frank. Laura joining us from Rocky Mountain PBS. Tell us about what happened to the Rocky Mountain News, your paper.
Well, a week ago today, Amy, the Rocky published its last edition ever. In 55 days, we would have reached our 150th anniversary, but as you just heard the CEO say, the economy did us in, and so we ceased publication, and a great newspaper is dead.
Bernie Lunzer, I've heard estimates that as many as 12,000 journalists have lost their jobs in the last 2 years as a result of these downsizings and closings. What is the future for newspapers in the United States, and what is your union trying to do about it?
I think the future is troubled. The goal is to try to get to the other side, whatever that other side is. New products, new news organizations where distribution is on any platform that works. We're pursuing alternative ownership strategies. We're pursuing changes in the law that would facilitate bringing foundation money in. We're really working with any people that we can on forming alliances, on trying to find ways to sustain good journalism. But there are no guarantees right now. It is a very troubling and difficult time.
Laura Frank, you are in the process of starting up a nonprofit news organization. Talk about what your plans are.
Well, I think like Bernie says, we're not entirely sure what is coming in the future. We've never been at a juncture like this before in our democracy. But I believe there needs to be a bridge so that the citizens continue to have the kind of in-depth investigative stories that we depend on that can be delivered to whatever platform is next, whether it's newspapers in some form, it's electronic, it's broadcast, whatever that is. So we are working with the University of Colorado as a partner to train young journalists and then deliver content to those media outlets that still exist in the state of Colorado, because this is an important part of our state, and the Rocky Mountain News was known for its in-depth and investigative work over the years, and we don't want to lose that in our state.
Can you talk about the piece you were going to have published in the Saturday Rocky Mountain News, which never came into being? I mean, you're very well known for your series Deadly Denial, taking on the government's failure to take care of workers at nuclear testing sites like Rocky Flats.
I've been working on that story over the years, well, over the past decade. The story that was supposed to run Saturday was not about sick nuclear weapons workers. It was actually a follow-up to a series that I had worked on with several other reporters last year, a year ago December, looking at the giant oil and gas boom in Colorado and what that meant to the citizens of the state. And that was it was a tremendous impact on the state, both fiscally and socially, environmentally. I had gone back with another reporter to the other side of the Rockies, we call it the West Slope, and we actually wound up almost sliding off the majestic Roan Plateau in a makeshift sort of road that had turned into a mudslide as a semi was coming down toward us. So we were quite glad we didn't die for a story that would never run. But the story looked at what the state had, the effects of the collapse of the economy on this oil and gas boom, and what had been a national controversy over whether to drill on the majestic Roan Plateau had actually sort of fallen flat because the companies were leaving on their own.
Bernie Lunzer,
because of the economy.
Bernie Lunzer, I'd like to ask you about the general importance of newspapers. Some people would argue that, well, with the web and with all the information that is available to the public now, maybe newspapers aren't as necessary as they have been in the past. But the issue of this independent local reporting,